Welcome to 3 on the Ones and Twos with your hosts, Tom, Cassie, and James. Just 3 old friends talking about their favorite records. Think of it as the coolest book club for music nerds.
Good evening. Welcome to East Atlanta Village. One of my favorite places, bars, clubs, venues, restaurants in this town. A place that has been so good to me, so good to us. The Earl, East Atlanta Restaurant Lounge. Thank you so much to John, Donnie, and Shane for having us. Also, thank you, Guinness. Thank you, Jameson. We love this show. We love what we're doing, and we hope you love it too. And the most fun thing about it is we get to have people that we love on as guests. This person, this year, is what it's handed us. A lot of bad stuff, but it's also handed us a lot of good stuff. I just met this person for the first time just now.
In real life.
In real life. But we met a year ago partnering on stuff, art and music. Kim Ware, wonderful, human, beautiful person, insane, amazing songwriter under the name Good Graces, and co-founder of the Come On to My House, who has saved so many people this year. Oh my goodness, so thank you, Kim Ware, for doing what you do.
Ooh, thank
and
you,
thank you for being our first guest that that isn't because we did have a guest, but still that was like within the circle, like really tight.
We love it.
But you are the first guest that's kind of like
Kim's
outside
in the
of
circle.
production.
Yes.
You are now. You're in the circle. Well, you've kind of been working your way. You're in this.
And the best thing about the show is, and the whole idea of the show is for you to be a fly on the wall on your couch or wherever you're at watching us. There's no edits. We just talk. We're best friends talking about what we love. Community, family, art, and music. So I reached out to my new, very close friend, Kim. You want to talk about a record? And what does she send me?
Awesome.
You Superchunk, no
Oh
Pocky for Kitty.
No Pocky for
my
Kitty.
goodness.
Take me back.
We need
to
2
college.
hours to
like
talk
being,
about
like
this
being
because
like in my early 20s.
I sent a note to Cass and James.
Like you hadn't listened to it in a long time. You're like,
I
forgot
can't believe
how
how abrasive and
amazing
punk it is
yeah.
and like arm hairs, you know. But the great thing about it is we all have similar tastes, but different enough, you know. But you sent me a list of, I could talk about these 4 records, whatever.
Yeah.
Everyone all said, no, let's talk about this.
yeah.
So cheers to you. Thank
bullseye.
you so much, Kim
No
Ware.
Pocky for Kitty.
Yes, thank you guys.
What made you pick this?
Yeah.
How old are you when you first heard it? What did it do to you? Who are you dating? What kind of sweater were you wearing?
Holy shit. I mean, crap. No, because I actually remember. I remember the first time I ever heard it.
Yeah.
Good,
So, yeah, it was. I think it came out in '91. Yes, but I didn't hear it until probably '94, '95. And it's kind of bittersweet memories of that time because I was with my ex then, and he introduced me to this album. I was living in Wilmington, North Carolina. Don't know what I was wearing. I was probably wearing.
Sorry, I hate to bring fashion into this.
I was probably wearing Chuck Taylors and like a t-shirt, you know.
Excellent.
Some cash, like today. But we're outside. We were living at his house that he grew up in. He had a pool. We were by the pool, and he put that on.
So he was a fan. He already.
You know, he was a fan. I mean, we lived in Wilmington. You know, they're from Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
Wilmington had a decent little like artsy scene, but we really, really admired Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure,
yeah.
95? Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
That was it.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we looked up to anybody that played music in Chapel Hill and stuff. And it was funny because I had never, I think I'd heard of them, but I'd never heard them. And instantly, like, it's so catchy.
It
is.
And I was just like, what is this? And I just loved it, and they became like one of my favorite bands.
Yep.
I sent you a text last week.
Yeah.
Well, I love our texts, by the way.
Yeah, me too.
I be exchanging thoughts with you, both of us, the way we write, and thank you for the inspiration. I sent you a text, and I forwarded the same text to James and Cassie, and I was like, holy hell! I forgot how abrasive and just punk this record is.
Yeah,
like, it's like, and it's one like, I know how I like. I love all kinds of music, you know. But I know how I like my punk. Like I like it smart. Give me 2 minutes, rough vocals, smart words from your heart, hooks.
Heck
like,
yeah.
Boom. You know, like punch me in the face with it. You know what I mean? Like, and it's all of that.
I'm so happy that this was the record that we're talking about, because I haven't listened to them in a while, but I know that time period. So I went to UGA in 93, 94, and actually I hadn't heard of Superchunk, but long story, but I had actually heard of, and this is weird, I had heard of Polvo and went to go south. I mean, for a while they were like one of my favorites. It was kind of like battling. And then I went to probably because I love them so much. Yeah. But when I went to UGA, then it's like I was taken, because at that moment I was like in kind of like in the middle of nowhere, and so then I go to UGA and it's like there's all these like younger people and they're introducing me to things like music that I hadn't really heard, and I was like, and then Superchunk, and I remember seeing them at UGA, and then after UGA ended, like with some friends, we went up to the Merge Record Festival, and I think like Superchunk played, and Archers of Loaf played, and Polvo played, and Strong That's Never played. It was amazing, and it just listening to this again just brought me back to college, and reviewing it, like I actually watched the video for one of the songs, and like the weird thing is, like I was like,
such a good song.
But when I was like when I was like 21, 22, which isn't really a little kid, but it's like I would see them play and I'd be like, I just wanted to grow up to be Laura, and like
Crush.
Yeah, for sure. Well, for me it was like Idol, but I thought that they were like they're only like a few years older than me, and I was like, wow, I want to grow up to be them, and then I watched this video and I'm like, they're little kids.
Oh God,
they're little, they're like
But what a magical time! Like think about the year. So where you are, Chapel Hill, UGA, Athens. You can 94, 95. What a magical time in America to be young. Like just what they call college rock back then. It was tremendous. I mean, the songs were your soundtrack of your life. I mean, like it was that much.
It brought me back listening to it.
It's so anthemic, and it's everything. And the funny thing is, well, I love music and I love discovering new music. I love when people turn me on new music. I love rediscovering new music. But then, well, again, the idea of the show is like I wouldn't have thought of it. So thank you, Kim.
I wouldn't have brought that up either.
It wouldn't, but there was definitely like a certain time period I think I really like about that where Superchunk was like for me at that point in their.
Was this around the time that we met, like kind of like around 93, 94?
No, actually, I can
Didn't
pinpoint.
you go to talk to me about a show you went to?
Well, I found the flyer, or I was in
wow! James always like brings out these cute little things, like actual wow.
Yeah, so I turned.
Is this for the Masquerade?
This for the Masquerade. I don't know if everybody can see this, but.
So man, you had a birthday.
Yeah, so I turned 16. This is my first introduction. I can tell you the date that I saw and heard.
Happy birthday. I know it's in August.
16.
I know it's in August, and you were a little new age kid.
I got my Honda Accord 1983. I drove down to the Masquerade. I went to go see Mudhoney.
Oh my goodness.
Which is one of my favorite bands at the time.
Because you heard them on 120 Minutes.
Of course, they were on 120 Minutes. And
that was
the thing, right? That actually introduced you to music.
About so many bands.
Mudhoney, Superchunk, Gas Huffer, Saturday, September 21st, 1991.
What an awesome show!
I wasn't living here yet.
And I wasn't even like I didn't even know about how awesome any of this was.
I was huffing gas actually.
You were 1991, September 21st, Thomason,
at
New
a
Jersey.
parking lot in Queens, New York.
So you drove out and you got that.
We drove down and Superchunk. We saw Gas Huffer, but then we heard like while they were setting up, like Superchunk's this band from North Carolina, like it's going to be amazing.
They did have this. There was an air that you heard about them, but you just didn't.
Well, there was like sort of like rustling in the crowd,
there's
and
buzz.
then they came out and they played music off of No Pocky for Kitty, but it hadn't come out yet.
Wow.
So they were went right into this album.
So that might have been the tour that they
Yeah.
were doing, because in this insert they said that they were touring before they actually, or it might have been after they recorded, because they went to Chicago.
They may have recorded it, but then they were touring
because they
And-
started the tour.
Okay.
They started the tour and said that they were.
recorded it. They recorded it
in
April
1991.
21st through the 23rd.
In 1991.
So it hadn't come out yet, but they were
Right.
playing those
Oh, shit.
songs.
Yeah.
And then they opened with, either seed toss or throwing things,
Yes.
or
Good.
sketch something.
All good
Like
songs.
one of those songs, they just kicked right in. And
Yeah.
the music, what I like about Superchunk's
Chills.
music is that it's so like bouncy and heaving.
Yeah, it
And
really
like really fun. And so
Yeah.
they
It's so
were
big.
just
I mean,
jumping and heaving around the stage. And people were losing their
I
minds.
was going to say, so you're a kid.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And you're a kid, and you go there, and so you hear these things you don't know. But like,
Yes.
so immediately, though, within 2
They-
minutes, people are just, they're
The crowd
attracted to
went
it. They're going,
insane because
That's
it was like
amazing.
they didn't have to. Nobody knew who Superchunk was.
Yeah.
But they were
Love it.
instantly.
And they were
like,
probably
sold
all
on it.
younger, like around that, like 16, whatever, to like the
Yeah,
where like when
like
you hear
teenagers,
something that you haven't heard,
and
that
they're
it's just
like,
like
"Oh my
you got the
God."
energy to
And
be
the
like,
energy
what?
that they-
Yes,
I mean,
they
that-
do bring
So
so much
that's,
energy.
It was a perfect
that's
introduction to it.
pockets and pieces of magic. Like,
That-
so you witness
yeah.
magic.
Yeah.
It's amazing, man.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so I need
cool.
to ask Kim again. Thank you again for being our guest.
Yeah, thank you.
I like that. She's wearing a bracelet that says badass. And
you are.
And thank you
And
for
you
picking
are.
this record. But songs, talk about the music.
Oh,
so,
yeah, talk
so you're at the
about-
pool with a guy we don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
But talk to me about like the songs, the music.
So, I feel like I got to say, and I might be made fun of for this.
No, not at all.
You know how Superchunk was like a gateway to like the whole Chapel Hill
Yeah.
Yes,
thing
big
for me,
and
right?
And also
yes.
indie music that
Oh,
I didn't even know that
absolutely,
happened.
right? But I feel like there was a gateway band for me to Superchunk, and that was actually Green Day.
That's okay.
That's
That's wonderful. That's
actually,
great.
and actually
Yeah.
at that time when they had just, because Green Day had really just come out,
Right.
and they it really was. I mean, at least at the time, it was. Yeah, it was like fresh and kind of new.
Yeah, it
And
was
so I kind of
skate
see
punk.
that it
Okay,
was.
so okay,
yeah.
and to stay on topic of this and time in the show.
For sure,
But
yes,
how?
yes.
How did Green Day bring?
Well, yeah,
you to
so
this?
that's what I was getting at, I think.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
so like, Green Day was like skate punk
Yeah.
stuff, right? And that's
Sure.
how
Great band.
That's how I became aware of them. Their first, I think it was one of their first releases that was like a double EP or something. It was like 1,000
Yeah,
some
the
number
1,000 hours,
slappy or
Slap,
something.
Slappy Hours.
Yeah.
Brian knows, yeah.
I'll
he's-
Bridge and Ivy cover on
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
he's got-
that's the first thing I
Great
heard from
record.
Green Day, and that's one of the first things I ever heard that wasn't like just
Yeah.
radio music. Honestly,
Right.
Right,
honestly.
and that's
Yeah.
what you know.
Or it just been done so much. you know?
Yeah, I mean, because I was super young, and I was from a super small town, and so I had not been exposed to much like what they called at the time alternative. But anyway, in college, I was either like freshman, sophomore, and a skater dude turned me on to that Green Day stuff. And so when I heard this for the first time, it instantly reminded me of
Right.
that.
Okay.
I mean, it's got, like, certain, like, energy and it's
all
different,
poppy.
yeah.
It's all punk. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's got a
Catchy,
poppy punk.
catchy.
Yeah.
And so I think, I mean, that's why I took such a liking to it, because I really liked that Green Day stuff. But yeah, then like, it's funny, like, looking back, because I've been listening to this here recently, you know, and they were so young,
So
and Mac was so young,
yeah.
and like,
Yeah.
some of the lyrics, like, I remember, so you asked about certain songs.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I remember, the second side to me is so important, but particularly, like, Sidewalk. So this was in, like, the early 90s, right? And I had lived in Wilmington for only about 4 or 5 years at the time. And back then, I was super restless. I'm not so much
Well, you were
anymore.
young, and
But
everybody kinda
yeah,
is at that point,
I
right?
really was. And I remember thinking that, like, the lyrics to Sidewalk just spoke to me
Sure.
so much. Like, if you want to get out, get out. I'm not sure what you're crying
Yes.
about. Something about there is no lock on this. You say you feel trapped. What about your map? And I just felt like he was talking to me, and I felt like he was saying,
that's
"Hey, girl,
amazing.
wherever you go, you're still gonna feel this way."
That's
Chill
so
is
cool
real.
when
And it
that
was
happened.
like,
Yeah.
and
That's
now,
so cool when that happens.
it gives me chills too, because now when I
Yeah.
hear it, it's like, I don't feel that way anymore, but there's still
But
something.
you remember
in
that it actually
yes.
that it
yes.
changed you in a way, that it
feeling,
motivated
yeah.
you, that
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
felt like a connection to it, that it was like actually
Totally.
telling you what you needed to do, and yeah, you never get rid of that. You never
I
forget
know.
that. So.
And
Well,
I
listen,
think, I mean,
also,
that,
do you
song
want to
more
get
than
rid of that?
anything.
No, never. You
So,
never.
I mean,
No,
like,
I mean,
so-
you never get rid of it. Like, you never
So,
lose
so
it. That's probably
I'm
better.
a different body, a different human than I was back then.
Yeah.
But I have no problem being like reminded of those things and instantly being taken back.
Yeah.
So if someone does that in 2 minutes, can do that to you.
Oh my God, right?
Right? You know, like that.
Yeah.
And that's
The thing.
that's the magic. You know.
That it is.
It was just different than anything that I had, you know. Well, I mean, because then like I learned of them through like knowing Polvo, and then like because Polvo was on Merge, and but this is probably like 93, no, yeah, 93, 94. But they're like different than like anything that you really heard on the radio or anything like that. And I just really like the whole concept of. This is when I learned about like indie.
Yeah.
That there were like there were people
they were huge.
that you don't. Well, no, but like, okay, so this is a Merge related thing, but not a Superchunk related thing. But when I went to the Merge Fest in like I think it was '94 with some
Wow,
people
that's
that I was
awesome.
friends with at UGA, one of the guys. I don't remember his last name. His name was Phil, but he knew.
You know 'em.
Do we need to say last names?
No, I don't know. I don't know.
Was
But
it DC Phil?
Yes. Yes,
right.
that's the only way I know it. But
I know,
like
he owed me
his,
$20.
like one of it, like I don't know,
Yeah.
his brother or a relative or somebody
go.
was friends with Eric Bachman of
Oh,
Archer
sweet.
the Loaf.
Yeah, yeah.
So we went to go see him, and he was like living like he.
He's about 8 feet tall.
He is,
Yes,
but,
he
but
is.
no, but here's the thing, where he was living, right? And so I'm buying their CDs, and I'm like, so like, yeah, like rock star, right? And this is where I learned
He's
about.
living in a
This is where I
closet
really
in
learned about
someone's
music.
house.
He
Yes.
was, you know, he was living in like where you rent a room and you like share like a bed, and he like the mattress on the floor, and it's like you like, and then you like what? I'm like, and to me, I was like blown away. I was like. This is like an artist. Like this is like, and this is what people. This is what actually most people, like a lot of people that listen, like they don't know this, but like when you're in bands and stuff, it's like you can even like be big. Like you're buying your CDs and you're buying like records and stuff, and you don't realize like these people like still probably have day jobs, you know,
Yeah,
and they're
big time.
still.
Yeah.
Big time.
And that changed me, like just as far as
Yeah.
like how you see that
Oh,
music
cool.
and like the art of it, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
when,
yeah.
when I think of that term, and it's a horrible term these days, but you know, indie. But I would think of probably off the top of my head, I would probably say Pixies and Superchunk. I mean, you know,
Right.
they were that kind of.
cool.
They kind of were that kind of
Yes.
effect on,
That-
on,
Yeah.
on people.
I think that aesthetic
And
is really cool. Like about Superchunk, I think did it the best in my
Yeah.
opinion. But that sort of, it was very noisy. It was very loud. It was very fun. Like their records, especially at this era, they were so much fun.
Beautiful.
As a,
I mean,
and
I wish I
popping.
was at that
And you
16-year-old
think
birthday
about
party.
like
Yeah, I know. It's like
Right.
there are a few bands sort of in that sort of like Mudhoney was one. Like
Mudhoney,
I always
yeah.
think of like Dinosaur Jr. I always think of you know
Yeah.
just. But there was this sort of like, you know, it was punk. It was loud. It was fast. But it wasn't like aggro. It wasn't angry. It was.
Yeah.
It
It's
was
melodic.
It was
It was
positive
really
and
melodic.
fun.
Endemic,
People were
endemic
having a
and
great
melodic,
time,
Yes.
and that was really fun in those concerts and things. And I
Oh,
think
God, yeah.
Superchunk really captured that really well.
Yeah.
They
Totally.
were.
Yeah, you just
And
described everything you did a better job of it. But how I would say what I love, everything I love about them and just music.
And also I love their lyrics because,
Yeah.
because they're so they're like they express something without nailing it down. So you have such like you have the ability to kind of like apply it to how you want it. You know,
Oh,
like whatever. It's like
universal
make
that
a
way, yeah.
Relatable,
You know, rather than it
Sure.
just being like spelled out and like
Yeah.
Yes.
you know. I mean,
Yeah.
which that's okay too. But like, I really like that because it's kind
Me
of like, what are
too.
they talking? Well, maybe they're talking about this, and maybe
Well,
this.
So,
and
Yeah,
then-
so you do favorite songs?
Yeah,
We
so
gonna
yeah,
do that?
please, yeah, let's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I
Kim.
was going to say with you sidewalk. Well, your
Yeah.
description of it too, I just got
Well,
revisited.
yeah.
What is your favorite?
I mean, Sidewalk is
Yeah.
the one that speaks to me the most. But God, hearing like I love throwing things, and
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
the acoustic version.
Yeah.
I mean, there's an acoustic version out there, you know, that they released that too.
But that was
Yeah,
the
I mean-
video that I saw. Like
Yeah,
after I
it's
saw them,
awesome.
that was on 120 Minutes. Like a month
Yeah.
later, Throwing Things video, like
I love-
dropping.
Is that the one where they're like super young and they're playing in a yard?
They're playing in the front
I think
yard.
that's the one that I
Oh,
just
that
recently
one.
saw.
Yeah,
And I looked at it and I'm
And it
like,
gets
wait a
crazier
minute, I
and
used to think that
crazier
they were
and
like
crazier.
adults that I wanted to like
I
grow up to be.
know.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
but they were
God.
just little kids just like me.
Oh, but I have to mention. I'm sorry, I'm gonna hog all the
Please,
songs.
no, please
do
do.
whatever
please.
you
No, so like, Seed Toss is also
Yep,
amazing.
yep.
But
Yeah.
you know what?
Classic, yeah.
What phrase is in Seed Toss? You better stay in my good graces.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
and which is her. She writes music on the name Good Graces.
Really?
Which is, by the way, what a great band name.
Thank
and
you,
When
thanks.
I did a podcast interview with Kim.
Yeah.
She did a podcast this year called Quarantuned,
Yeah.
which is a great play. And thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
And when she asked me about how I came up with the idea of Western Motel, I said, well, the original idea was it was going to be like this conglomerate, or me and B. Kinch, me and B. Hines.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, we lived in this area called the West End, and people just came and went, the warehouses.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Such good times.
I was like, tonight I could sing and play piano. He's on guitar, you're on drums, she's playing violin.
It's like people hanging out and playing music.
And we could be Western
Yeah.
Motel. Tomorrow night, I could have the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra back me up, and we'll be Western Motel. It's about having a bunch of guests in the motel. And she,
So it was kind of like our
and-
show, but
yeah,
as a band.
And she and Kim goes, you speak my language. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good graces.
Totally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's art, and that's the best.
Yes, yes.
And I think we need to talk about other things.
Okay, can I say my favorite
Yes, you
song?
can.
Cast Iron. My favorite song's Cast Iron.
Oh, that's so.
Well, that's the thing.
So
You
good.
Yes.
Every song has an amazing hook
Yeah.
on this
Heck yeah.
album. Like every song
Yeah.
is solid. Like there's no filler. Like it's just a
Yes.
That's true.
Great,
Yeah.
great
No,
album.
yeah, it is a really great album.
You know, I mean, this day and age, well, do people even do real records? But you're lucky if you get 2 good songs on an album.
Yeah.
Everything is filler. And you get these young kids
I know, like,
who
what?
pour their crotch and their soul and their heart out
Yeah.
to you in 36 minutes or whatever. You know?
Sure, yeah.
It's like filler. What's filler?
right.
Yeah, no.
Don't
like,
bore us. This is all chorus.
This is back when
You know,
you used to be
it's-
able to
it's
buy
like,
an
you know,
album and actually enjoy
unreal.
like the whole
They're-
thing.
yeah.
Like for the
I want to
most
say a shout out to Chapel Hill Merge Records,
Definitely.
Laura Carter,
Definitely.
Superchunk,
I love
Yeah.
Merge. I like
Kim
This
Ware,
one for Merge.
definitely to Kim.
Kim.
And before we leave, I'm going to like talk about how
That's
much
Kim.
Komodo My House is meant to me.
Well, this, you have no idea because we just
And
got
one
we
more.
just got a,
Oh,
we just got a
yeah,
letter from
read
somebody.
your letter.
What?
And this is so crazy because as a behind the scenes guy, I get privy to things. So I read letters. Hey guys,
I like it, but
I love that.
Hey guys.
Hey guys, this is Becky Johansson.
You say and girls too, or you just say
Just guys.
Just guys.
It's like it's a universal.
I
It doesn't
know.
really mean.
Hey guys, this is Becky Johansson
Yeah,
from,
yeah.
From New York City. Love what you're doing. Thank you so much.
David's niece.
This is for Kim Ware. Yeah.
You know, sometimes we like
We knew.
let people know.
Yeah, exactly,
I mean,
yeah.
not to spread, but
we
you
let
know,
people know.
every now and then.
Thank
not
you, Kim, for what
broadcasted,
you've
but-
done this year. What do you see in the future for Kimono My House?
Oh gosh, thank you. You know
next?
what I would like to? It's
Oh, yeah.
hard to say what I
And it's
can
surpassed
see.
a lot already.
Exactly, because it's done so much more than what I saw at the beginning. But no, I think it'd be super cool if things start to slowly get back to a normal and we have
Shows in clubs like at the
in
Euro,
person,
yes.
right? That if there are like Come On to My House presents.
Oh, so you would like to actually
Live
like
shows.
shoot the shows, like actually
Well,
like film them
Of
and
course,
and
yeah.
Or like
Wow.
curate,
That would
like
be
curate
amazing.
the shows,
Wow.
right? Yeah.
That would
There
be
you go.
amazing.
Oh, no,
I got some plans. We're going to have a meeting after
No,
this.
that's awesome.
Wonderful. No,
And
that would be incredible.
I mean, I wanted to say because I know that like when you started it, right? You started it, and we were talking about this earlier. You started it kind of just hey, musicians are kind of bored right now because we're like quarantined and you can't play out.
brother.
So how about we just so it's a Facebook group for like anybody watching called Komodo My House, and it's like for like musicians, just kind of like you can just schedule slots to just play like live stream in your house. Which I think it's so beautiful, and it was just kind of like so because we got nothing else going on, just to kind of like play our music for each other kind of thing,
Right.
Yeah. And like for me, I'm not a musician, but I love it because
You're a fan.
I got turned on to it because like because Tom does the BLT show,
Yeah.
But then like I started just like but it goes beyond the BLT show because it's like
it's the best.
I'm learning so much about artists that maybe
And watching them grow,
and maybe
which
they're
has
just
been
starting out. So maybe
amazing.
they're ones that I would never have even heard of because they're in a different city
Oh,
and
we
they're
had a guy
they
from,
might not
where
tour.
was somebody from like Pakistan? or something.
Pakistan.
A guy
Yes.
from
Awesome, because you're hearing cool
Unbelievable.
stuff. stuff and amazing stuff from everywhere.
I
and
was like,
where
what?
else are you gonna get that? Just to have like people be able to have a platform just to go and share with things. So I think that's a blessing from COVID because I mean, and I mean it's been a crappy time, but like, thank you for turning
Thank you, Kim Ware.
for adding a silver lining, like coming up with an idea that really made it really awesome.
Well, no, and I do want to say because I don't want what I said to come off as like, and then things go back to normal, and then it's just a live show thing. Like
No.
I mean, I can see it
We
still
could mix the
serving
two. We could mix the two.
a similar purpose
Yeah.
for years because I mean, you think about people like some people just can't get out and go to shows. Some people maybe live in a really rural place where there aren't shows.
Well, and some of those artists might still just be starting, so they might not even be booking shows.
Oh,
but
for
you
sure.
still want to like hear about them.
Yes,
so
yes,
I think you meant more like when there are live shows, then like stream some of those.
Yeah, I'd
but
love it to
then
be like a
also have
hybrid
it.
thing.
Yeah,
Well, like
That's
the
so awesome.
platform itself grew organically that you didn't even expect.
Right. You just meant
But
it.
you're open to it changing, so it's going to change, and we want to help you with it.
Yeah.
and
It
go
has
with
to
you and
change.
it.
I mean,
so
you know,
cool.
Yeah.
It's really
It
awesome.
needs to be what people need it to be.
Yeah.
It is.
Right?
We don't know what
Yeah.
we need until sometimes we get it.
Right.
And
But you did just mean
and
it. You
this
did just
year
mean it
served
just
us
kind of
so
like,
many
hey, we're just
different
kind of
weird
like when you thought of it, it was just kind of like we got nothing else going on, so how about
Well,
this?
yeah.
Kind of,
Well, Andy thought of it in that way. She only thought.
Well, then
of,
thank you, Andy Gish.
thank you,
big
Andy
shout out to
Gish.
Andy Gish.
Because,
Yes.
because she thought of like we need a place for Atlanta musicians to connect.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's make a Facebook group.
Is Andy local?
Oh, Andy will be a guest on the show. Trust me.
she's
She
here.
plays in the Yum Yum
So,
Tree.
yeah.
I want to give a
That's
big
so
shout out
cool.
to Andy Gish.
For
Andy
sure.
Gish.
From one of my
We'll be a guest.
Kim Ware.
Has-
Oh my
thank you so
God.
Can I
much.
ask just really quickly, has Sparks contacted you at all about this, or what's the story?
No, so the story is
Because
simply.
when you started it, I was like, I'm a huge Sparks fan, so I
Oh,
was just
that's
like,
so cool.
all right, perfect.
No, the story is simply like when there were literally maybe 5, 6, 7 people in the group.
Yeah.
Like one of them was David Mampowski, and Andy threw out there, she was like, what do we call this?
And
And
he
there were
said-
several different suggestions. And he threw out "Come On to My House,"
It's
and it
great.
just stuck. And I wasn't actually aware of the Sparks reference,
sure,
but
yeah.
I saw it and I was like, "Oh, it has Kim in it."
Total artist. She makes it about her. I was doing a show the other night with B. Kinch and Kim, and I talked about imperfections of voice, and she goes, "I have Kim perfections." And I go, I love her. She makes it all about her. Kim Ware, thank you so much. Thank you, Superchunk. Thank you to the Earl, John, Shane, Donnie, East Atlanta, the Atlanta community. We are all in this together, and much love and respect.
Yeah.
Cheers, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
Yeah.